Eternals is a brand new superhero movie by Marvel Studios. If you clicked on this video, I'm pretty sure you're not new to the rodeo known as the MCU, but when it comes to this movie, I can honestly say this is the least marvelous movie that Marvel has ever marveled. And when you add on the fact that a lot of the critics didn't like this movie, that leaves a lot to unpack, but I'm here to talk about it, so let's get to it. The Eternals are a race of immortal beings with superhuman powers who have lived on Earth for thousands of years. But when the situation arises, they must reunite to battle the evil deviants. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. In my reviews, I discuss what I liked, what I didn't like, and then my overall thoughts. So starting with what I liked about the movie, I'll start with the cast, because that's where this movie really shines the most. This is a true ensemble cast, and even though they don't all have the same amount of screen time, they're all important in their own way, and all have their own time to shine throughout the movie. Each Eternal is distinctly different with their personalities and their powers, so everybody is easily going to have their favorite one. And I'm not joking around with that statement either. You could ask 5 different people who their favorite Eternal is and legitimately get 5 different answers. And I love the chemistry that all the Eternals had too. With a group this big, you know at some point there's going to be some internal friction, and every time that happened in this movie, you totally understood where each character was coming from and why they felt the way that they felt. And also when it comes with the cast, I like the fact that even though Selma Hayek and Angelina Jolie are easily the biggest stars in the cast, it's not their movie. They're just as much a part of the ensemble as everyone else. Another thing I liked about this movie was the writing and the directing and how everything flowed. I really like how the movie jumps back and forth in the timeline so you can piece things together as the story unfolds. Now that's not something that Marvel's known for, but in this movie I think they did it very well. I'd even go as far as to say I think this is one of the better written movies that Marvel has ever put out. They had to have an intriguing story to keep your attention with characters you've never seen before, while also doing it without relying on action sequences every 10 to 15 minutes. I mean, let's be honest here, we all gotta admit that that wasn't an easy task to do. Now, as far as what I didn't like about the movie though, the only thing I'd say is that the villain was a little bit underwhelming. But this is a Marvel movie though, so let's not act shocked about that. But what I will say though is that for the first time, that was actually a factor in a Marvel movie that didn't really bother me. You're so focused on the Eternals and their journey and what they're going through that the deviants as an antagonist are kind of an afterthought. That just goes to show you how good the writing and the overall story was. So in conclusion, I like the cast, I like the characters, I like the overall chemistry with everybody. It does have a villain that I'm going to forget about by the next movie, but in my opinion, the overall story pretty much overshadowed all the faults that this movie had. All that being said, I'd say this movie is a definite add to the Blu-ray collection. It's not your average Marvel movie, and I can kind of see why some people don't like it, but for me, I think it's a top 10 MCU film. Now, every movie isn't for everybody, so there's gonna be some people that just genuinely don't like this movie, but don't dislike it because it's not what you expect from a Marvel movie, because it was never meant to be what you expect from a Marvel movie. So that's my review of Eternals. If you've seen it already, what did you think? Leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts. And also, who's your favorite Eternal? Right now, I'd have to say Kingo. Not only was his powers cool, but to be fair, I think all the Eternals' powers are cool, but he was the funniest one to me. And becoming a multi-generational movie star was probably something I would have done if I was in his position too. Thanks for watching. If you like what you've seen, hit that thumbs up and click that subscribe button to see what's coming next.